Hello viewers and welcome back to the channel. And yes, today we will be asking a very important question. If I have wrapped, why am I still shooting? It's a good question. I ask myself it every day, and we are going to analyze it today in the video, especially for you. But before we do, let's take our customary pause and analyze the lighting of today's setup, which is pretty much the same as what it was for the previous video. If you haven't seen it, click here. We have our Godox 300 here. We have the Godox VL 150 shining down as a kind of backlight, lighting up, in theory anyway, my shoulders and my hair. And we also have the aperture here, which is good as long as I don't go too far this way, because I don't like it so much on my nose. But here should be okay. And we have the rod light here. So how does that look? I think it's okay. Still not getting where I want it to be perfectly honest. And every video is another test, but we're going to move on to what we want to talk about today, which is, yes, if I'm wrapping, why am I still shooting? It's a good question. Come on, let's get into it. Let's actually figure out why. So yes, if you don't know, I am in the middle of making an independent feature film called Gardener's Planet, but it would seem kind of odd that you've clicked into this video and not know that, because basically this whole channel has been all about the making of this film. So I'm going to really assume that most people who are watching this video already do know that fact. So since I wrapped the film in November 2024 until now, August 2025, I've been involved in very intense post-production, not just the editing of the film and getting the film in shape, but also the visual effects. Some of the things that I've been reshooting are things that I never got the opportunity to do with the actors on set. And so, which is quite common. You come back and you do what are called inserts of maybe hands, maybe some feet, and it's that kind of stuff I've been doing. But I've also been doing a lot of, you wouldn't quite call them inserts, but I guess maybe just plates and some motion capture work. You know, as my confidence has improved with the visual effects stuff, I've, made a real concerted effort to go back and get those plates, get that information as good as I can, so that the visual effects can be as good as they can be, because it is, as I'm increasingly realizing, quite a visual effects intense heavy film for an independent feature film. So it's pretty rare what we're doing, and I think pretty cool. And the technology we're using really is on the cutting edge. And the advantage of being on the cutting edge is that it's cool, it's exciting, it's cool stuff to talk about, and I can do lots of videos about it on my channel. But the negative side is there's a huge growth and upskilling aspect, and that's somewhat what I've been struggling with. So let's go through the shots today, what I've been doing since November, what those shots are, why they've been so vital to the film, and where we are now with these little pickups. So last night, in preparation for this video, I did make some notes of all the pickup shots I've done, because there's no way I'd be able to recall them all on my own, because it's just been too many shots over too long a time, and this project is already becoming so much of a blur. So let's just go through this list and see what we have. So I wrapped in November 2024. I immediately started doing some of these pickups in January 2025. So those shots I shot in the woods were really handy. There was a shot of kind of a body coming down and an explosion, and that all came out really well, and that has all ended up being used in the film. It could have been done better or more efficiently, might be a better way of saying it. And then February 2025 for scene 1, I had never gotten really any background plates of the woods at night for the aliens. So I simply went out to my parents' back garden, and I used the same location that we shot the plant monster in. If you haven't seen the making of the plant monster video, click here. And yeah, I shot maybe half a dozen shots. It's all very, when you're learning, there's a huge experimental aspect to it, and you're like, I'm going to do this. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm just going to go and do it. And then in April, I shot more background plates for our montage scene in the film. So we had already shot what I thought was 100% of that footage over block 1 and block 2 in 2022 and 2023. But when I got our amazing VFX artist, Moesh, who's doing the more complex animated VFX on board to put in this little plant alien in there, it looked so good. I was like, oh, we need to get this in more shots. So I went out again to my parents' back garden and just shot some more close-ups of the ground, of the plant in there, doing a bit of a, to have the space so that the plant could do a bit of biting maneuver. And I also shot a close-up of just my foot hitting the ground for scene 67, where Stanley's attacked by the alien. You know, he's walking forward, he steps on a twig, and the alien turns around. And we never had actually shot him stepping on the twig. You know, we had shot him looking at the alien in shock, looking from the twig up to the alien, and we had shot the alien turning around, but we had never shot the foot on the twig. So I did that. That's my foot. Okay, May and June, really, I shot, you know, a lot more motion capture of the aliens, and I've kind of covered that in previous videos. And I just did that here in my bedroom, just the aliens talking. And there's 3 alien spaceship scenes, and it's no longer any fun. It used to be fun, but it's no longer any fun. So they're not the inserts. They're, again, very VFX, character-based action, motion capture stuff. And yeah, you know, I did all them. There's 3 scenes. There's about 10 shots in total. So that was about 30 shots over the course of maybe May and June. Doing them again, looking at them and maybe doing them again, just really analyzing, trying to get them as good as possible. But we're getting there, and they're getting really cool. Each time I do them, they're getting better. July, yeah, I covered this in a previous video as well. A close-up of the ignition, of the keys in the ignition. So just my hand turning the keys, and I've covered that before. And that brings us to where we are now, August 2025. And just the other day, me and my friend Dalian went out to the woods to shoot yet more alien VFX stuff for scene 67 and scene 68, 2 of our most visually heavy scenes. So let's go out to the woods and see how we got on. The first shot we're going to do is an alien with a chainsaw, and the alien will be moving back here. I'll be playing the alien, which seems appropriate. And chainsaw through the head, and I'm going to stumble back. So let's see how that goes, and hopefully I won't injure myself too much as we do a couple of takes. Okay, yes, we have gotten that shot. That went really well. I'm trying to, you know, I shot a version of this shot back in January 2025, and the shot was on tripod, and I just felt having a cool action moment shot handheld with some strong visual effects would add a lot of credibility and excitement to the scene. It's been a hard scene to do because we originally shot a version of the scene in 2022 with the rubber mask aliens. Then we came back in 2023, shot another version of it. So it's been a bit of a piecemeal sequence to put together. But I think hopefully we have the final touches of it done today. And it'd be really exciting to bring that shot now into the computer, change my motion, bring into the motion capture, bring into Wonder Dynamics, change my motion from Thomas into the alien, and then get Moesh, who's our amazing VFX artist, to insert the chainsaw. And we do have a scanned chainsaw that we used from 2023. Put that scanned object lodged into my head, and as I go back, the lodged object, the chainsaw, goes deeper into me, and we get the blood and all that goodness kind of coming out of me. So it's exciting. It's going to be great. We need to do a shot of, basically it's the guys, they're in the trench in the movie, and they're looking around, and they see like an alien in the distance. And the thing about these CGI aliens is they work really well in close-ups. When you come to the wide shots and you get the body interacting with the environment of the world, in this case the woods, it's a lot trickier. So come with us now as we walk into the woods. So that went pretty well. I have that. So we're just going to grab our last shot, which is just literally, we'll do it back out on the road here. And we're going to do a background plate for scene 69 or maybe scene 70. Scene 70, I think it is, where the alien is looking at Harry in the car. And just behind the alien, this was a shot I had to reshot. We shot in 2023, but it was a bit shaky. It wasn't as good as it could have been. So I've reshot the alien in my bedroom. But what we don't have is we don't have the background plate. So in looking at these trees, I'm not even 100% sure. These trees are a lot bigger and wilder than they were down in Wexford, but I'm not sure this is going to work here actually, looking at it now. Well, you know what? Maybe they can, because we're going to put it out of focus. You know, we just want basically the scene on the road where Harry's being chased by the aliens. On either side of that road down in Wexford, there were trees much like these, not exactly like these, but much like these. And when the alien turns around and sees the car, we just want some trees and some sky in the background. Okay, so that is it. We have our fourth shot, which is the plate of the sky. So it's just a background shot. The alien is going to be the focus. It might or might not work. I'm not 100% optimistic, but I needed a plate. We got a plate. So we are out of here. So yeah, that brings us to where we are now, and I really appreciate Dalian coming out and helping with me. Making films is far more fun with two people than just doing it on my own. It's been both a frustrating and, I think, obviously somewhat a satisfying experience. Frustrating because it's very much, filmmaking is about looking what's in the frame, analysing it, but with the VFX it's more about capturing information, and you're not even thinking about it in terms of visually. You're just should be thinking, am I capturing the information enough that when I bring it back into the computer, it can translate and do what I need it to do, not just from a technology point of view, but also from a narrative and filmmaking point of view, so that by the time I get it out of the visual effects, out of Blender, out of After Effects, wherever it is, and into the timeline of the film, that it works from a narrative point of view. So there's very much kind of a trial of doing it wrong, doing it wrong, doing it wrong, doing it wrong, and hopefully every time you do it wrong, it gets a little bit less wrong until you're eventually doing it right, at least in theory. But like I say, there is also a satisfying aspect to it as well, in that you're really getting it the way you want to get it, and I've put so much work into this that I'm not going to stop until it is correct. And that's not a threat. It's a threat. It sounds a bit like a threat, but it's just a fact that I know it can be right, and I know if I get it right enough, it can work. What we're doing is very hard for an independent feature film, which is all the visual effects and the action scenes. Independent films are not known for their visual effects and action scenes, but we have two really intense visual effects action scenes that is taking a while to get them working, both from a visual effects point of view and from a narrative point of view, and just trying to get a balance where the narrative isn't trying to do this crazy ambitious stuff and the visual effects is here. We're trying to get it where that the narrative and the visual effects are working together, and that an even keel, and one is complementing the other, that the actors at least appear to be working in tandem and complementing the VFX and vice versa. So it's been a journey, as it always is, but thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't, please do like and subscribe, and yes, I will be back with another video on all the challenges of independent filmmaking very, very soon.